I hope you have completed the hands-on of data types. In case you have not completed the hands-on, please pause the video here, go back, do the hands-on and come back. This is very much important so that it would be effective in our learning. So I assume that you have completed and I trust you. So let's go ahead to the next chapter, which is about literals in Java. So Java comes with different types of literals, and in this chapter we will explore the integer literals, floating point literals, boolean and string literals, and see where and all we can use them in a typical Java program. We discussed about an overview of literals in the earlier chapter. So now let's look at the details in this chapter. So literals are also known as constants. So whenever you want to use a fixed value in a program which do not change, a classic example could be a value of pi, 3.14 for example, or any other number of decimal points like 3.14.159, blah, 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 whatever you want to use, for example, right? So primarily something which do not change as part of the program, you can basically use literals, which are nothing but pieces of source code that indicates explicit values in a program. So there are four types of literals: integer literal, floating point literal, boolean and string literal. So what are string literals? So any whole number in a program is a literal. For example, I can have a statement something like int x is equal to 20, and this is a value. It's a fixed value given to that particular variable. So that's a basic concept. Or you have long I is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 L. So L representing it's a long value. Okay. So here this value 20 or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is nothing but the literal, the constant value given to a variable, assigned to a variable. Underscore can also be used as separators in integers. For example, so if you have a lengthy number or a long lengthy number, for example, you want to represent a credit card, right? So how do you represent a credit card number? If you would have used any social media websites or places where you want to enter your Aadhaar card number, or sites where you want to enter your credit card number, for example, online shopping portals. So there you would see that typically a credit card number, even on your debit card or a credit card, when it is printed, instead of giving the entire 16 digits in one place, it is just grouped as four group of each containing 4 digits. So a very simple way of easily interpreting that number. Same way, in a Java program, instead of representing a 10-digit number or a mobile number, for example, which could be a 10-digit, you want to just separate it out. Yes. Or a credit card number, you want to use it in your program. Yes, you can use underscore. Say for example, int order number is equal to 2324 underscore 1234. So it could be basically useful in understanding or interpreting that particular value and more easier to comprehend. That's it, nothing else. And it is just used from a coding perspective, and when it is compiled, it just merges everything and keeps it as 23241234. So it's just a small number as far as Java compiled code is concerned. Similarly, we do have floating point literal. For example, you have float pi is equal to 3.14. So this is an example of a pi value, and where we represent numbers with decimal values. Literally, if you want to represent this, we have to give f as well, 3.14 f, which represents a float value. Then we can also use the scientific notations. For example, you want to represent this as 314159 e minus 0.5, which represents 3.14. So this is also an option but we can basically use. Similarly, we could use underscore here as well. Just like integers, floating point literals can also be separated with underscore. Next, we do have boolean. A boolean literal is having a true or false value, representing, right? If it is true, it is representing 1. False means it is representing 0. As simple as that. So example, we could say boolean is active is equal to true. So true represents a boolean literal in Java. Next, we do have string literals. So see, string literals are nothing but a constant string value used in a Java program, always enclosed in double quotes. So it is mandatory to use double quotes. Single quotes will not work, so it should be double quotes only. And internally Java uses a string class to represent the string literals, and it gets internally implemented as a string object or a string class. Then example could be like a string title, say Java in action. Next is escape sequences. So there are different escape sequences that are also used in Java. Say for example, you want to use a special character preceded by backslash, for example, special characters, say for instance, new line. You want to represent a new line, so we have backslash n representing a new line character. Similarly, backslash r representing a carriage return character, backslash f representing a form feed. And whenever you want to print or you want to represent backslash itself, all right, how do you do? Because backslash, and then if you say any other character, it might be misinterpreted as an escape sequence by the compiler. So how do you represent this? So we use double backslash, backslash indicate that you are actually representing the backslash in a string literal representation, all right. Then we do have tab, backslash t, and if you want to represent a double quote, so if you want to have, say for example, Java in action, so somewhere in between Java in action, you want to represent that inside quote itself. You want to print within quote. Java in action should be printed within quote. So how do you represent double quote? Because double quote means it is beginning of the string, the next double quote is end of the string, literal. How do I represent this? We can use an escape sequence here as well. Backslash double quote represents, hey, I want to print this and represent this as part of the literal itself. Similarly, backslash quote for single quote. And you want to represent an octal character, so you can basically use backslash, or hexadecimal or special space you want to add, so backslash s is a space. And you want to continue, you have something called backslash end of line. So these are the ways in which you can basically use the escape sequences. So this is an example where we are using this text is in quotes and you have backslash double quote, backslash double quote. So when you look at this particular literal and where the compiler encounters this one, what it looks at is first quote is the beginning of the string, and backslash double quotes will not be represented as end of the string. It is considered as the content itself. So that is how Java supports different types of literals in a normal programming world. So in the next chapter, we will discuss about variables. So how we can use variables and how we can represent them and use them in our day-to-day Java programming. So see you all in the next chapter.